been doing these town halls, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid all over the state, and this is our 4th one. And for this week, we've been really fortunate to have with us Kingson, who is the co-founding director for a group called Social Security Works, which is sort of a policy think tank group that has been looking at Social Security and how to make it better so that it's here for future generations, which is what we're here to do today, to talk about how we make it stronger and how we fight some of the attacks that are happening. He's also a professor at Syracuse University, and we've been in Richmond and Roseville so far, and today, and then tomorrow we're going to San Jose and then Stockton to put on these town halls for folks like you around the state. It's been great to have him with us. He's really knowledgeable on the program, but I think has really helped put in perspective how we got Social Security, how we got to where we are, and what's at stake as we try to figure out our plan to save it, preserve it, and strengthen it for future generations. So I'm really happy to introduce Kingson.
Thanks, Jody. More than anything else, we need the voices of this organization, the people who are here, people who are not members but are here as well. There is a huge battle going on to preserve the basic foundation of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The thing that the politicians will listen to is not all the chattering in Washington, D.C. It's going to be sending the voices of Americans from around the country to Washington, D.C. We're going to need to hold our friends accountable, give them, strengthen them. We have a wonderful friend, obviously, in Nancy Pelosi, Leader Pelosi, but she needs to be encouraged to do the right thing. There's a huge amount of pressure on her. And she, in fact, has made noises that she's open to this so-called grand bargain our president wants to do. We have a fine president. The problem is he doesn't understand, or in some cases maybe doesn't fully care about Social Security. He certainly cares about it more than most Republicans, far more. But he has put cutting your benefits and your children and your grandchildren's benefits right on the table in a discussion about a grand bargain. And this whole thing about a grand bargain, the key thing is they know they cannot cut Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid in discrete legislation. You bring up this legislation, Americans are going to tell their members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats alike, do not cut Social Security, do not cut Medicare, do not eviscerate Medicaid. But if you can throw it into a package and talk about it in a frame of austerity, of somehow we have to deal with Social Security to be adults, and we have to cut it. By throwing it into this grand bargain, this package, it becomes possible to cut it. So for many years now, that's been the strategy of both the enemies of Social Security and some centrists like our president who feel that it's important to show compromise in his sense. It's also are willing to cut the program. The Strengthen Social Security Coalition. The Alliance for Retired Americans is a key member of our steering committee. Virtually all of the nation's major unions are part of this. The major women's, the major disability, many of the aging groups, civil rights groups, and others. The core message is we have a system that works. Do not cut it. We have a retirement income crisis coming down the pike where people in their 40s and 50s and younger do not have adequate protection. The last thing we want to do for our children and our grandchildren is pull apart the one system that's actually working well. We talk about not cutting, but we're also talking about ways it should be improved as the political agenda changes. I'm going to talk about what we built and why we built Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, why and how they are under attack. Why is it these wonderful institutions, these systems we rely on, are under attack today? What's at stake for each of us and for our children and grandchildren? What's being done by organizations and citizens to fight it? Now, Henny will be talking about that in much greater detail. We're also releasing with CARA the Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid Work for California report today. We've partnered with ARA, other organizations, but mainly the Alliance for Retired Americans on these reports. And these give information about the importance of the system. They have some stories in them about people who are affected. They have information that's broken down by counties, by congressional district. They're a great thing to have if and when you go in to visit your congressional representative, because you can say, gee, did you know you have 126,000 people who are receiving Social Security in your district? That wakes them up. Those are voters.